We're back at it. Back at it again. Yes, we have a third video coming out today for the Detroit Lions. And, well, it's technically one now, as it is now New Day. And it's game day, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get straight to the news. And that is, I cannot believe this happened overnight. Overnight. I'm going to call it midnight news. Not overnight news, midnight news. According to Jordan Schultz, breaking. The Detroit Lions and star wide receiver Jameson Williams have agreed to a 3-year, $83 million extension with $67 million guaranteed, multiple sources tell me. J-Mo is coming off of a career year, his first 1,000-yard season with 8 touchdowns. One of the league's premier young talents just got paid. I don't know why I said 1,000 yards like that. But with 8 touchdowns, one of the league's premier young talents just got paid. Wow, I cannot honestly, I cannot honest to God believe this. I really, really cannot believe this. And honest to God, this is the most positive I've felt about a Detroit Lions extension when it first got done in a long, long time. Long time. Now, this is according to Richard, I believe it's Silva. Richard Silva, I believe is what his name is on Twitter. I believe this is the first time bringing in any information from him. This makes J-Mo the 13th highest paid receiver in the NFL based on average, $27.67 million per season per over the cap. Right between Jalen Waddle at 28 and a quarter and DJ Moore at 27 and a half. This is a phenomenal deal if you ask me. It truly is a phenomenal deal. Because if Jameson Williams lives up to expectations like he has been set at this training camp and this whole entire offseason, then this is going to be one of the biggest steals of a wide receiver extension within the past decade. It is going to be, even if he just puts up numbers like he did last year consistently for the next 5 years. Yes, he's under contract for the next 5 years now. 3 years with his new extension, and he already had one in his final year of his rookie deal, and the Lions picked up his 5th-year option. So he's under contract for 5 years. So if he is consistently getting 1,900, 1,100 yards a season with consistent good number touchdowns, then this is going to be a great deal there, though. 27.67 is the number you're looking at. That's less than T. Higgins, and that's right between Jalen Waddle and DJ Moore. DJ Moore has not really lived up to expectations with the Bears quite yet, and Jalen Waddle I'm not high on at all, and he had a very down year as well. So the fact that he is getting paid less than Jalen Waddle, I feel super happy about. I think Jameson Williams is better than Jalen Waddle. So I think this is a great extension. I don't think he's quite as good as DJ Moore yet. He's getting there. But this is a phenomenal deal, in my opinion, for the Detroit Lions. Now, the only thing that makes me nervous about that, there's always something when it comes to extensions in the NFL. Obviously, with the Detroit Lions, that's my team. But there's always one nervous thing, and it's usually, what if the guy doesn't produce, or what if the guy gets hurt? It's always one of those two. And for me, with Jameson Williams, it's not if he's going to get hurt. It's if he's going to continue to put up that production like he did last season. And honest to God, I think he is. I think he's going to be very productive for us for these next multiple years, whatever it is. And this leaves, I honestly really like this extension too, because if Jameson Williams was to ball out, then he would be getting St. Brown numbers from a couple years ago when the Lions extended, which I think St. Brown got 4 years, 120. He would be getting that type deal again. I think that was like, at the time, that was around, I want to say, $32, $34 million season was what it was that St. Brown got. I think it was 32 and a half or something. Could be wrong. But that's what J-Mo will be getting at least if he balls out with expectations that he has this season. His expectations are probably around 1,250 to 13-plus 100 yards, and probably what he had last year, 8-plus touchdowns. That's probably what his expectations are this year. 300 more plus yards than what he got last year, and the same, if not more, amount of touchdowns, and more involved in the offense on a consistent basis when it comes to receptions and targets. So, for Jameson Williams, and I know my voice sounds really raspy, I'm still dealing with a cold, if you haven't checked out in the previous videos. sick the past couple of days, so that's why my voice is a little bit raspy. But plus, it's midnight as well. It's recording this video. It's 12:45 when I'm recording this Central Time, by the way. So that's another reason why. But I was literally just about to go to bed before I made this video. But Jameson Williams extension. Now, there's also something else I want to talk about. Oh yeah, let me get to this first before I forget about it. This sets up the Lions wide receiver core to be amazing for the next 4 years. Because guess what? With this extension, barring a release, trade, anything like that, retirement, anything like that, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Isaac Tesla are now under contract for the next 4 years. I guarantee we're the only team in the NFL that has their starting 3 wide receivers under contract for the next 4 years. I guarantee it. That's insane to me. Khalif Raymond, the Lions wide receiver 4, will be a free agent next season. But they did draft Dominic Lovett last year, who I'm assuming they're wanting to be Khalif Raymond's replacement and be wide receiver 4. And they got Jackson Meeks, who could definitely be wide receiver 5 or 6 on the 53-man next year. So, the Lions, they truly might have their whole entire receiving core on the roster for the next at minimum 3 years. Because if Dominic Lovett can be wide receiver 4, and obviously Jackson Meeks can be wide receiver 5 or 6 next year, that means the Lions wide receiver core, whole entire 53-man roster wide receiver core, is locked up for the next 3 years, at least next 3 to 4 years. That is insane to me. That is absolutely insane. Now, this is the other thing that I do need to bring in. This came out actually 8 minutes was all before the Jameson Williams news broke, so I didn't actually when I first got the news about Jameson Williams being extended, it was actually from St. Brown's Instagram posts. I always check Instagram before Twitter when I go to bed, and I saw St. Brown's Instagram post, and I'm like, what? I thought it was fake, honestly, to begin with, but apparently it was not. But this was 8 minutes before. According to Adam Schefter, Lions and Aidan Hutchinson have had positive contract conversations but are not expected to reach a deal before the season starts today, per sources. So, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate for the Lions cap. Aidan Hutchinson, I would not be surprised if he honestly breaks the market. I don't think he's going to get what Parsons got with the Packers, but I think he's probably going to get, he's either going to be, he's second or third highest paid. He's going to be one of the two. If I had to guess, he's probably going to be second. I expect the Lions to get a deal done with Hutchinson 100% within the next, I don't know, multiple weeks. I think it is a risk for Hutchinson because he's coming off of a severe injury to his leg, which is a big part of his pass rush game is his legs. But if he can put up numbers like he did last season before he got hurt, he's definitely going to be like the second highest paid defensive end. There's a slight risk to it, like I said, if he's not quite as productive because of that leg injury. But I think he's going to be just as good as he was last season. And Aidan Hutchinson, man. Aidan Hutchinson is going to absolutely break the bank. I'm hoping Hutch breaks the bank, but at the same time I'm not, because I'd like to see Hutch break the bank. He deserves it. But at the same time, oh man, it's going to hurt the Lions cap. And it brings up the topic, what Detroit Lions players, major players that are going to be free agents in the next 2 years will not be on the team. We'll talk about the Lions draft picks, which is Brian Branch, Laporta, Jack Campbell, and who was the other guy? Jahmyr Gibbs. Those 1, 2, 4. Those 4. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta. Man, I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Jahmyr Gibbs, Sam Laporta, Jack Campbell, and Brian Branch. Those 4. It brings up the topic. Which one of those, or possibly even 2 of them, there's no way all of them get extended. There's no way we can work around it. I know there's a lot of stuff with the salary cap raising, Saints being over $90, $100 million over the cap a couple years ago. Teams are over the cap all the time and can work around it. I know you can do that. but there's no way you can extend those 4 guys, especially with all the other free agents that you're going to have to re-sign in the next coming years. And those free agents next year include DJ Reader, Amik Robertson, Alex Anzalone, Malcolm Rodriguez, Marcus Davenport, and he's going to be a big one if he can actually stay healthy more than 2 snaps. Josh Pascal, Roy Lopez, and Levi Onwuzurike. Those are your top free agents next season. 3 of them, really 4 of them, being huge, possibly 5. DJ Reader, Alex Anzalone, Amik Robertson, and Malcolm Rodriguez being the 4, and possibly 5 if Marcus Davenport can actually stay healthy. There's 5 big free agents next season. So, one probably go Lions. And when it comes to the players that I think will not be extended, the 4 Lions draft picks that will not be extended, I think 100% Gibbs and Branch are getting extended, in my opinion. I think it's going to come down to Laporta or Jack Campbell. And if I had to pick one, I'd pick Jack Campbell. I really would. If you probably would have asked me just a couple months ago after the season, I would have said Laporta. But now that J-Mo is locked up and how the Lions handled the draft with the wide receiver position, with drafting Tesla and drafting Lovett and getting Meeks and UDFA free agency, I would take Jack Campbell because it is way harder to get linebackers or just good defensive players in this league than a good tight end. I understand Sam Laporta is arguably a top 5 tight end. I understand Jack Campbell's not a top 5 linebacker, and he's probably a top 15 linebacker at best. But it is way harder to get just a good linebacker in this league, in my opinion, than a great tight end. So, and Laporta would probably cost more as well, since, after Trey McBride's extension and stuff like that, Laporta is probably going to get an insane amount. Linebackers don't typically get as much as a guy like Laporta. Tight end and linebacker money is about the same, but I would say tight ends usually get a little bit more money than linebackers. So I would take Jack Campbell over Laporta. If both of those guys have to go, I could see it. And obviously, Gibbs and Branch, I do think get extended, and would be the 2 out of the 4 players that would prioritize to get extended. But got some big moves. Some big decisions have to come up. Hopefully, Hutch gets done here soon. I expect him 100% to get done before the season ends. It just depends. It will be a matter of time now. The Lions extended Montgomery and Ali McNeil last year in October, mid-October. I think it was Montgomery was the 12th of October and McNeil was the 15th. So I believe that was it was a couple weeks before the trade deadline. So I would not be surprised if Hutch gets the deal around there too soon. But one pride, go Lions. Jameson Williams under contract for the next 5 years. Congrats to J-Mo, man. And man, if he can put up the numbers like he's expected to get from how coaches and insiders and stuff like that have been hyping him up this offseason, it'll be the steal of a contract extension when it comes to a wide receiver within the past decade or possibly even longer. One pride, go Lions. Overall, this is the most confident I felt about an extension in a long time.